What's up boys, Lurideo here with the Affliction PvP guide. Challenge 13 completed, 0 to Elite. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check it down below. I'm trying to do every single DPS to Elite, or as many as I can until the end of season. Now, I ain't gonna lie, this one was the toughest. But not only that, it was the most frustrating. It was so frustrating and surprising, because I thought this is gonna be the easiest and the best one for me. Why? Because first time I ever played Warlock in Season 1, it was so easy. I got 2.2 like this. I didn't even know what I was doing as Warlock. It was so easy, so nice. But this season, oh my god, it's so frustrating. It's insanely frustrating. I was molding, I was pissed off every game, probably flaming everyone. I was just... hated it. I hated it. Even though I love the spec, I hated playing. And I can't wait for midnight for Affliction changes. I can't wait. So if you're Affliction main this season, you know, you some steel of nerves, because this is annoying as a motherfucker. Okay? I ain't gonna lie. I'm completely honest here, guys. Now, comparing that to Destro, Destro is so much better. I'm gonna explain why now. Affliction does a lot of damage. It does. I would be topping charts 3 times over. Like, I would be doing 350 million and everyone else is doing 150. Like, I'm doing damage for the whole lobby. But I'm still losing. I'm going 1-5, 2-4. Okay? I can't get a kill. Every time you go for a kill, you get dispelled on your burst. Or you're playing maybe with a hunter, maybe with a monk, and they scatter shot your whole damage. And then you're like, just, you know, why am I even playing this shit? You feel me? So it was by far the most frustrating. It felt unfair a lot of times. Comparing to Destrolock, you could just go running around the whole game and you know, put in 3 Chaos Bolts and it's GG. Now, why it's a GG? Same reason as a marksman. People don't respond. Once you're playing Affliction, you have to go. Let's say you're playing against Red. You have to go to Relay of Hands, Spell Bubble, his own life, Life Swap from the healer. So the point is, you have to kill someone 5 times, 6 times over to win a game. And every win is, I don't know, 4 minutes long. Every win. If you're not playing against bad players, okay? And it's so annoying, because you get a juicy 4-minute win just for the next, you know, match. For your teammate to die instantly because he doesn't press bubble or turtle or whatever, netherwalk, right? Whatever. Because people don't respond to burst well, but they really easily respond to Affliction damage, even though it's super good damage, but it's shit damage. If you get my point, okay? So I had to run this out. Sorry to my Affliction logs, because this is it's like a shit Shadow Priest. Okay. So since this is over, let's get going with the races, guys. So first thing you might notice if you watched my last video is I'm playing Tauren, and this is not any Tauren. This is High Mountain Tauren. So why? What race is the best? So let's say, which faction do you want to play? You want Lance or Horde? I'm gonna say Lance is better, because Void Elf is gonna be the top one, then probably the Night Elf, and then for the Horde it's gonna be High Mountain Tauren, in my opinion. I was Orc before this, but I literally felt like I didn't even have a race, okay? So from my frustration came, I need some advantage. I need to change my race. And I did. But I fucked up because I bought a race change, but I wanted to be a Void Elf, and I didn't know if you buy a race change, you can't be Void Elf because I'm a Horde, so I had to buy Faction Race. But then I was like, ah, fuck, I'm not gonna buy this shit again, you know? So I just went with the High Mountain Tauren. Did I feel some advantage over Orc? Not really. Maybe I had 1% versatility, but honestly, I didn't feel any difference. However, I wanted to be a Void Elf, and if you're gonna play Affliction, go with a Void Elf, guys. You know, in my opinion, it's better than Night Elf. In my opinion, it's better than anything else. And that's it, guys. Now, let's get into the gear. Okay, here we are at the dummies. These are my PP stats. As you can see, Haste Verse, 100%. We have some crit because of the Force set. We have some mastery because of the Force set. Now, I experimented a lot. I can't say if the Force set is worth it, but I ran it. I tried running without it, I didn't see any difference. Most, if not all, are running Force set, but then again, I don't see any difference. So I left it. These were my items. So if you want to copy paste. What I changed at the end is I went, as you can see, with Gladiator Ring instead of the Algari crafted rings, because I wanted more versatility. Okay. Now, I did try build with low versatility, and I'm gonna explain the difference now. So, before I tried the build with full haste, so let me see how much haste that would be. 25, 26, 26k haste. So until the penalty, pretty much. Until the end of this bar. With low, oh, this is now with my buff. Let's remove the buff. With versatility only at 30%. Okay? In PvP. Now it's 36. And everything else in mastery. I was doing a lot of damage. A lot. And I was winning games by doing insane burst damage. But that worked only to 2250. Okay? And then I started dying way too easy. So I went with a lot of versatility, because how I continued climbing is by not dying. I probably died just 10% of the games. Like after few lobbies, like 2 rounds, people would give up on me. They wouldn't even focus me anymore, okay? Because I was super tanky, I was unkillable pretty much. Like very, very rarely I would die. Very rarely. That's why I went with a full tanky build. But the problem is, you can't kill anything. So this is where my issue with Affliction stands. Now, this will be the same build for both builds. I'll show you the both builds, okay? And you run Force set 100% on the Hellcaller, and I'm not sure about the Soul Harvester. You could go without the Force set. You go 2 set or 4 set. If you're gonna go 2 set, you remove the head and you remove the shoulders, okay? As you can see, I have them in the bag. So I was changing it a little bit, but you know, if you see some difference, I really didn't see much difference, except you get more versatility. Which, I don't know, maybe I would go with that now when I think about it. Hard to say, hard to say. Now, let's get into the main thing. And that is hero talents, guys. So, we have 2 hero talents, Hellcaller and Soul Harvester. You will see that everyone is playing Soul Harvester. However, I did experiment with Hellcaller a lot, actually. I probably played all my, I don't know, all my first games with Hellcaller. Like 50% of my first games were Hellcaller. And I managed to get around 2280 with Hellcaller. Now the problem with Hellcaller is it does more damage, even more damage. And you're unkillable, because you don't need to cast that much. And this will work 100% to Duelist, 100%. But to Elite, I couldn't pull it off, because I couldn't kill anything. Now with Soul Harvester, there'll be less dot damage compared to Hellcaller, which is in my opinion, a true affliction. Soul Harvester will be, you'll have to hardcast a lot, because that way you will, you know, try to get a kill. You'll try to get a kill. It has burst compared to Hellcaller, which is really rot damage, you know? So let's get first into the left tree, and then we'll talk about the right tree for both, because left tree will be the same for both, okay? So guys, we have 5 optional points. Everything else, don't even think about it. You have to take it, okay? Everything else, set in stone. Don't even think about it now. 5 points, let's see what's the best. So, Fel Domination, this time I will be running it, because I played so much Warlock now that that extra button doesn't mind me. If you're starting with the lock, it's fine not to take Fel Domination. It's not that huge of a deal, but you know, if you wanna min-max, it is better to have a pet than not have a pet. But if you're starting out, and I did the same thing when I was starting out with the Destro, I didn't run it, so it's fine. Now, Burning Rush I don't think has a really place in Shuffle, because you need to pick some other talents, but it's fun for Blitz and stuff like that, right? I don't think this is needed, okay? It's too much. Now, Amplify Curse is okay, it's okay, but it's not needed either. It's also extra button, which, you know, I don't need it. Now, Abyss Walker is pretty good, and I always run this. It gives you a little bit of tankiness, and you need tankiness, right? Now, we have 3 more points, and I'm going to show you 2 ways I would go with them. So, either for Hellcaller, I would go this way, because you'll be doing more dot damage, okay? So, I would go 2 points here and 1 point here, okay? Now, for Soul Harvester, I would go this way, because you'll be casting more, and this will give you a little bit of extra tankiness, right? So for Hellcaller, this, because you can run around, not cast, and for Soul Harvester, this. Now we do have 2 interchangeables here. We can take Mortal Coil, or we can take Howl of Terror. I always ran Mortal Coil, because you know, it can win your game clutch. If you're close to healer, you coil him into fear. Very nice. Now this is also a choice. I ran this. Which one is better is just your personal preference. You know, it's hard to tell which one is better. They're both good, right? They're both good. Okay, Hellcaller. This is something completely custom made. I've never seen anyone run this, and I love this build. Honestly, I wish this was meta. It's so fun. It's just a fun build. What can I say, guys? So, mid tree. This one is kind of interchangeable, but I always run Curse of Satyr, because you will be... I'm throwing this on everyone every few seconds, you know. Everything else is pretty much set in stone. Now, the right tree is something special. I removed Soul Rot completely, because it just didn't fit the playstyle of Hellcaller, guys. It just doesn't fit the playstyle. Now, look at this. We are running full dot damage. Insane dot damage. You'll be generating shards left and right. And whenever someone gets dispelled, you just throw a curse on them. Okay? Now, in the shuffle video, I'll probably show one Hellcaller game just for fun, because this is such a fun build, and I'll show you how to play it. Now, you know, this is kind of interchangeable. You could go with this, because this makes more sense, right? But it's such a low damage that, you know, it's very low damage. If it was a little bit more damage, I would go with this 100%, but it's just such a low damage. Other than that, I love this build. Now, if you know, feel like you're getting too much shards, you could go with something like this, you know. And but I like having like 5 shards all the time. It's super fun, and that's it for the Hellcaller. Now let's get into the Soul Harvester. Okay, these are the Soul Harvester talents. I don't change anything here, and I don't think you can change anything here. Like, these are all kind of set in stone, okay? These focus mostly on more bursty rupture damage, buffing rupture with Soul Rod, buffing rupture with on the many, depending on how many targets you have dots on, stuff like that, right? So, different playstyle. I prefer the Hellcaller, but this one is, you know, the one you will play if you want to go above elite. Okay, so let's get into the PvP talents now. Jinx you'll always run 100% of the time. Okay, 100% of the time. It's a must. You can play Affliction without it, pretty much. Other than that, we have kind of two options. This is an offensive one. Okay, and what I usually go with. Now, this one you will change probably every match, okay? And you have 4 options here. Impish Instincts, very good against melees. Gateway, very good against melees. Soul Rip, very good against melees. Netherward is against casters only, right? So you'll have to decide which one of these you like the most. Me personally, I like the Impish Instincts the best out of these 3. And this was my setup 90% of the games. Now, if you're feeling it like you're really struggling, you could drop this one and, you know, take one more against melees. That could be a Gateway Mastery, or that could be a Soul Rip. Okay? Like, if I'm really struggling, I would go like this, usually. But Soul Rip is viable too, okay? Oh guys, the opener will be the same, both hero talents. First things, we open the gates, we put the circle, we put the port somewhere, we go into the middle, and we throw curses on everyone we can, right? Boom, 1, 2, 3, right? And then we, Unstable Affliction, if we, you know, if warrior charges, then we can port back or something, right? Now, I'll show you the DPS, how to do damage with Hellcaller first. So guys, first I'll show and then I'll talk about it, okay? And that's it pretty much. That's pretty much it. So we don't have a pet, so we are missing on some damage, but that's it. And now we just reapply our dots when we need to, right? So 6 million DPS, we didn't do much. It's most of it was instant, we didn't cast much. You can see the damage. Look at this Wither. By far. Crit, insane damage. Malefic Rupture, we cast it multiple times, but didn't do much damage. Okay? So, look at this, dot. Now, comparing to Soul Harvester, it will look completely different. The dots won't be top damage. Stable Affliction will, but your Corruption and Agony won't be as high. Now, your damage priority will be here. You must upkeep your dots. This is your only damage. Like, you must upkeep both Wither, both Agony, and of course Unstable Affliction. And whenever Haunt is off cooldown, boom, you press it on the kill target. Whenever Phantom Singularity is off cooldown, boom, you press it on the kill target. Whenever you get a proc Shadow Bolt, you press it. Whenever you get a proc Malefic Rupture, you press it. Now, if you're high on shards, you wanna be spending them. Now, the only difference here is Malefic Rupture does low damage. You'll be spending your shards on curses instead of Malefic Rupture, except if you just reapplied, you know, all your curses are already like 25 seconds plus or 15 seconds plus, then you can dump on Malefic Rupture because it doesn't do that much damage, okay? And your burst, let's call it a burst, but that's your only burst you have, is you want a Malevolence when you dotted everyone up. You don't want to click it before that, okay? So that's the whole philosophy of the build, guys. You dot everyone up, you run around, you kite, and you let them die passively. Like you'll win a game at some point. So you have to go through all the enemy cooldowns. It will be a long game. The only, the problem why you lose games is because usually your team will die without pressing some defensive. That's why the only reason you die. If the game kept on going, you would win eventually. So you're playing not to lose pretty much, okay? Unfortunately, that'll be the playstyle of the second hero talent as well, but to a lesser extent because you'll be doing some more burst damage. So let's see that. Okay, once again guys, I'll first show it, then we'll talk about it. The start will be pretty much the same. Let's get to it. Boom, that's it. Look at the burst. 10 million DPS. 9 million, okay. Insane burst, insane. But, people still won't die. Like, rarely people will die to this. Rarely. So, that's it. I mean, it's very simple, but the spec is very tough. Just to show you the damage difference in the builds. You can see Malefic Rupture is pretty much at the top compared to the dots, right? Look, corruption is this low. In the real game, Unstable Affliction will be your top damage. But it's a very different playstyle, damage profile as well, right? Now I want to show you, look at the games. Every game I do above billion damage. Look at this, almost 2 billion damage. This spec does insane damage. If I went to any other class, this wouldn't be looking like this, right? And look at this, DK, 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 DK. Like all your counters. Let's see the destruction. No, not even close. Not like almost none of the games were above 1 billion. One game, 2 games, and there were almost all of them, right? So all the games will be very long and very painful for you, because even though you will go 4 minutes, you might lose. So that's a problem. Oh guys, mobility, CC, defensives. Let's start with the mobility. Which is your best defensive? So port, insane. This is so good. Like, this is your best defensive, honestly. Other than that, another port, gate, I mean, insane defense as well. Super good. You want to be using this as much as you can. Other than that, we have Dark Pact, which is pretty good. And it's pretty big shield. It's super good. Other than that, not much. Unending Resolve is long cooldown, unfortunately. And on Affliction is not that good used offensively, so it's a more defensive option compared to Destruction, which I said you can use very offensively to secure kills, but on Affliction, not really. I tried it multiple times, it doesn't end up well. I rarely get a kill with this. Other than that, we have our Healthstone, which is pretty decent, but not much. Now, CC, we have a Coil, Into Fear, which is a pretty good setup, but Coil is short range, which means you have to, mess up your positioning to get a Coil, which is not the best. So if you're not the focus, this is gonna be easy, but if you're the focus, this is gonna be tough to pull off. So you'll probably be coiling DPS, right? Same for Shadow Fury. If you see an opening to stun both of them, if they're melee, boom, take it. And then you can cast 2 spells in between, right? Other than that, utility, we don't have much, except, slowing enemies with our curse, fearing enemies if we are not the kill target, stuff like that, right? Now let's talk about Blitz 3v3 and 2v2. I do think Affliction Lock is better in 3v3 than Shuffle, because in Shuffle you will be playing a lot. I think 50% of my game, I think maybe more than 50% of my games were against DK. DK is insane mega counter to Affliction specifically, because your dots don't, like, you can't even apply them. It's a mega counter, like it's pretty much unplayable. And then he's paired with a Fury Warrior, and you're a punching bag. You can't do much. Or he's paired with the Assassination Rogue. It's a game over. Perma silenced, perma kicked, perma slowed. Like, I've won some of those games, but just because, you know, they were worse than me, like by far. But, you know, if you're at equal skill, you might as well, you know, it's complete lobby dependent in that case. Like, you can't do much here, guys. And you play on Ruins of Lordarion, which was a lot of games for me. A lot of games. Let's just check so I'm not lying. Ruins. Look at this shit. Oh well. I won 6-0. I mean, I don't have that bad of a score, I ain't gonna lie. But it's a lot of games. Look at this. On Ruins. A lot of games. Like, I would say this is my most played map, unfortunately. Because it's such a horrible map. Now, 2v2... Sorry, I went off the, you know... 3v3, who you want to play with? Honestly, Assassination... Like, when I was playing with Assassination Rogue, it felt good. You're both spreading your dots, and then he can actually kill something. You know, he can secure the kill while you're both rotting something. And then he chooses the target, boom, we're killing this. And that dies in a smoke bomb or something, okay? So I think in that comp, Affliction is better. Other than that, guys, I don't see many comps for Affliction this season. Something that has Mortal Strike, but is also good with Affliction. Maybe a Feral could work, but no. You know, maybe Shadow Priest with Scyfiend, but it's gonna be a long game. So now 2v2, not looking great either. You know, what healers can you play with? Resto Shaman, pretty decent for Warlock. Resto Druid, pretty decent too. Other than that, I don't know. Those are probably my top 2 healers I would play with. Now Blitz, I think Affliction is pretty good. It's more fun, definitely in Battleground than in Arena, because you won't be always a target, because there will be a Destro lock, and then people will go him rather than go you, right? And then you'll be free to do your own thing. Now, some lobbies you might get unlucky and you are the kill target in the team fights. Well, luck of the draw, I guess. But, you know, Destro is so popular that there's a high chance, or Marksman, that they will be the focus and not you. And then you'll have some fun, right? So in Blitz, I think it's pretty decent. Not top tier, not top 3 casters, but top 5. Okay, macros, mostly mouse overs, mostly 1 to 3s. Other than that, not much. So I have mouse over curses, I have 1 to 3 fear, I have 1 to 3 coil, I have 1 to 3 purge, I have 1 to 3 kick, cursor, shadow fury. Oh, not much. This is just nothing. Cursor gate. That's it. That's pretty much it, guys. Now add-ons, per usual. I'll go slowly through them. Say what is important, what is not. Battleground enemies for Blitz, Unmasked, Insane. Sort is nice. Gladiator Losa, Insane. Use it before it gets removed because it helps you hear stuff. What is this? Oh, it's for midnight. Okay. Omniaras or big debuffs. Omnibar for the enemy cooldowns. Omni CD for your teammates cooldowns. to S Arena or Gladius, depends which one you prefer. And weak auras. That's it, guys. That's it. If you want to see my weak auras, how I set up my weak auras and my LVUI, I created a Discord server a few days ago, so you can drop by, say hello, and I'll see you there. With the I have import codes there, right? So now let's get into the strength and difficulty. Okay, guys, like every time after reaching elite, rating, difficulty, and strength of the class. These are the classes from before. Now let's do the affliction. So, strength. I'm not gonna lie, feels like a 5. Soul Harvester feels stronger, and I'd say it's like a 6. Very average. I wouldn't say strong at all, like very, very average. Okay. Now difficulty. I don't think it's a strong spec, difficult spec, guys. It's probably like a 7, because you're caster, you're ranged. Now, Soul Harvester will be harder, an 8, because you do have to cast way more than Hellcaller. But I don't think Affliction is so hard. I just think it's just so weak that it makes it super hard. So, overall, I don't think the class is mega hard. It is tough. Of course it's tough. 8 out of 10. But it's not the toughest. There are harder classes. However, to get elite this season, it's gonna be 9.5. Hardest on the list. And you can see Shadow Priest is the second hardest. And this is by whole point harder than Shadow Priest. So this was by far the hardest. And I hope I won't have to deal with anything harder this season. Let's see how the demo lock now is. A little info in advance. I just played, first few games. My MMR is already 2.3, and even though I don't know what I'm clicking yet, I didn't even read my abilities. I'm not struggling. Maybe because I played lock, for a while, for a week, full week. So maybe that's why I'm not struggling, but it seems way easier than the Affliction to reach elite for now. We'll see. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, you learned something. Here's a short clip of me playing against the worst lobby we can have. Unholy, Arms Warrior, Red Paladin, Shaman. Pretty damn rough. I mean, can anything be worse than this? Went 3-3 this lobby. Not too bad. Was top damage every single round. This is round 23-40. And pretty happy with that game. Could be better. Wish I won 4-2 at least. But it is what it is. If you enjoyed, drop the like, drop the sub, and hopefully I'll see you on the demo lock. Okay. Peace. There we go! Very nice! Yeah, look at this damage. Not too bad, not too bad.